Welcome to this week's episode of Analyzing Chazal. This week we'll be analyzing a Rashi and a Sifsei Chachamim on Parshas Berashit. In Perek Beis, Pasuk Beis, the Torah says as follows: Vayichal Elokim bayom hashvi'i melachto asher asah, vayishbos bayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asah. God completed on the seventh day all his work that he performed, and God rested on the seventh day from all his work that he did. The explanation of the pasuk. The Torah is teaching us that God both completed all of creation and rested from all work on the seventh day following the beginning of creation. Rashi. Ma haya ha'olam chaser minucha. Basa Shabbos, basa minucha, cholsa v'nigmara hamalacha. What was the world lacking at the end of creation? Rest. As soon as Shabbos came and brought rest, that was the completion of the creation. The explanation of Rashi. Rashi is trying to explain the apparent contradiction in the pasuk, which on one hand seems to say that God was still creating the world on Shabbos, and on the other hand it seems to imply that God completely rested on Shabbos and there was no more creation. Rashi explains that God did not create anything on Shabbos, but rather he created the idea of rest, which was Shabbos, which is a time of a prohibition of work. As soon as Shabbos began, all creation truly ended, as Shabbos was already created in advance and just began on the seventh day. The Sifsei Chachamim asked on Rashi, I understand that all of creation was necessary for the upkeep of the world, but was the idea of rest truly a necessary piece of the creation? He answers that the existence of the world is based on the fact that there are Jews who are learning Torah. And if there was no rest in the world, the Jews would not have time to learn Torah. It is for this reason that God created Shabbos, during which work is prohibited, and therefore people will learn Torah on Shabbos. The question. It seems from the Sifsei Chachamim that if there was no Shabbos during which there was a prohibition to work, that Bnei Yisrael would not be able to find free time to learn Torah. This is hard to understand, as people did not work 24 hours a day, and as a general rule before the advent of electricity only worked until night, so they would have a lot of time available to learn Torah in the early evenings. So why did God need to make Shabbos in order to get Bnei Yisrael to learn at least that one day a week? The answer, as always, the answer comes from within the question. The question was, did God really need to create Shabbos to create the situation for Bnei Yisrael to learn Torah, as they were anyway not working 24 hours a day? The answer is, of course, yes. As the nature of a person is always to be looking to be constructive in this world. And if God did not create a day where constructive work is prohibited, it would be incredibly difficult for people to learn Torah. However, once God created Shabbos and the concept of not being involved in constructive work in this world, it also makes it easier for us to learn Torah even when constructive work is permitted, i.e. on weekdays. Practical application. In our lives, we live in a world of technology where life moves in high gear 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When Shabbos comes, we need to focus and learn from it, to limit as much as possible our involvement in our professions and other activities, and to spend more time involved in our spiritual endeavors. It is also supremely important that we do not waste the free time we have on Shabbos on frivolous activities, but rather to involve ourselves in Torah and other spiritual endeavors as much as possible. See you next time for Parshas Noah.